What's up, guys? Vince Wrighty here. And yeah, welcome to my review. That I don't really do this a lot. I don't review a lot of games or, I play them. I stream them instead of me talking about them because I feel like that just makes more sense when I'm trying to do anything gaming related. I especially this philosophy I had of me in I think it was a few years ago where from now on, I'm just not going to watch walkthroughs of games that I don't own. If I owned a game, I'm watching the walkthrough. And for the longest time, that literally kind of like ruined half of my experience when it comes to gaming, especially anything from the PS4 and PS5 because I don't own one. I have to watch walkthroughs because that's the only way that I can ever experience those games. And God forbid, I wish I can experience Uncharted 4 or Armored Core or Elden Ring, even the God of War games. And I guess, in some cases, for now on, no matter how much it costs, no matter how to play it, I actually want to experience the games instead. And thank goodness that mindset has, contributed to me actually playing for this game and also other games in the future. Because a lot of times, even though these future games are getting expensive and more expensive as time goes on, sadly, you know, I still want to play them. And there's going to be ways to play them, especially now that I'm trying to get a new job and stuff like that of revenue. But other than that, I'm here to talk about BombRush Funk, BombRush Cyberfunk, BombRush Top Rock 360 Flip to a back, freaking backflip bunny hop. But yeah, I honestly just played the game a few minutes. Well, actually, I played the game and then I went to class because for those that don't know, I'm trying to find newer jobs or better jobs so I can actually hopefully get out of this house and pretty much find my own apartment and all that jazz before I turn 30. And basically I just I I've streamed I didn't stream it. I recorded my gameplay. So link in the description. Please check out my gameplay of Cyberfunk. Because, well, first off, I want to prove to you that I freaking played it instead of me being like, even though there's probably a good amount of you that wouldn't care otherwise, still, I think it's smart to actually, show you and tell you the game that I played, but also having some proof of gameplay because I don't know. I'm just too lazy to actually ever put anything. I'm busy with other stuff. What do you want from me? There's supposed to be something on this video in terms of the gameplay, but why not just freaking show you the link of me playing the damn game? So yeah, just go check out the description. This video is probably coming out the same way the same day that the gameplay is coming out. Who knows? But yeah, after class, here I am, reviewing and talking to you about my impressions of the game, and the reason why. It's not every day. It's not every day that there's a game that kind of relates to who I am as a person more than anything else. Now, I want to let you know, I never grew up with Jet Set Radio. However, there was another game. You would think that, oh, Bomb Rush, we haven't had a game like this. Oh, no, 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 no. There was actually another game. There was another game, and I forget the name what it was, but it was also on the Switch, and it literally is just like Jet Set Radio. The same kind of thing. Is it better? I can't tell you that because I don't know. And also, it was pretty much like 3 years after since I played this, for the amount of years that I have owned a Switch. This is actually one of the first games I had. And it's literally just like, BombRush Cyberfunk. But it was also on the Switch, and I forget the damn name. But at some point, I might stream it and tell you about it because it is just like Jet Set Radio. But I never grew up playing Jet Set Radio. Okay? I was so unaware about it. It was not until recently, when I got my, it was not until, I downloaded this previous game that is just like Cyberfunk that I heard about Jet Set Radio because there was talks about this other previous game that is just like Jet Set Radio. It had the dance, it had, the skateboarding, the BMX, it actually has more freedom than this game itself. And I'm not here to criticize and compare them to the two. Bomb Rush is unique in its own way, and I really do like that. But I'm just saying, there's literally another game that is just like this. That's literally so. In some cases, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is the second Jet Set Radio fan game, in a sense, or inspired game, because there was another game that is just like Jet Set Radio, and this is another one. But this one basically is more well known compared to that other game. And it's sad that there's not a lot of people talking about the other game, especially at the other game not being that fun. It's kind of a bit boring, if I gotta be real. I forget how much I paid for it, and also I forget where I was with the story because it was a long time ago. After that, there was just a whole lot of games that I got into, and pretty much, especially within other games around emulation. Like my backlog is just insane. But yeah, Brown Rush Cyberpunk. This is one of those games where I just want to share you about the beginnings, and pretty much I'm kind of like early on in the game. I didn't finish even the Burr of Flesh Prince. I got to there. Right now I'm in a battle with Irene, so that would give you an indicator of where I'm at with the game. And the game itself is pretty good. I like the flow. I like, as a skateboarder and also a dancer, a b-boy or break dancer or breakin, whatever you may call it, a breaker. Go to my second channel, because I always put that in every single video, like link to my second channel. It is heavily dedicated to breaking. And if you were here in my earlier days of my channel, there was a series surrounding skateboarding. So, and also I do that every day. I skateboard every day. I dance, do top rocks every day. If you're familiar within the breaking world, those are my aspects. And I'm usually a person that likes the physical arts, or the arts aspect of these different sports that I'm a part of, which are urban sports. There was a time that I really want to get into BMX, but my parents said no, because that was when I was a kid. I really wanted to get into rollerblading. I remember watching Air Gear. Yeah, if it wasn't Air Gear, it could have been Just Said Radio. But growing up, Air Gear, if you're familiar with that kind of anime, man, that really made me want to actually rollerblade. But now I just don't have any interest to actually ever rollerblade at all. But during that time, I was just so crazy of like owning my own, rollerblades. But my parents, for the longest time during my childhood, they just say no. They just said no, 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 no. And they only got me a scooter and a skateboard. And the skateboard, I guess, it being also the popular one. But the thing is that I was so eager to do other things like BMX, rollerblading, and also dancing has been a part of my life for the longest time in breaking. My whole entire character and who I am as a person came from the breaking culture. It came from that hip hop culture essence that I grew up from, especially, being from the hood. Like, that's kind of like my essence. So this game it speaks to me. It really does. Okay. Despite it being from a company from the Netherlands, and there's some reference from like within the Netherlands, at least that's maybe it's not true, but it being at like New Amsterdam, and some of this music sort of like there's just something about, and I never been to Europe, so I never been to the Netherlands, but they have a different style when it comes down to their career, when it comes to hip hop, because I discovered, like, it's almost I've been to hip hop class, but I never. It's just that true culture that I was part of within the breaking world, is that I discovered different aspects of hip hop throughout Eastern Europe, through Japan, through China. China has like a deep roots within hip hop. Japanese hip hop is like very like, has almost created its own style that's very power based in some cases. Korea, see some forms of K-pop in it. Then, I discovered different forms of hip hop within Brazil, and I just keep learning and learning and learning. And it's all from the internet basically, because almost all my life I've been watching breaking battles for the longest time. So, and the person that actually sort of created or worked on this game used to be a b-boy. He used to be someone in the scene. So the authenticity of this game, and also me, sort of being something that really resonates with me, it is already like, a 10 out of 10, because I appreciate that. I really do. Now, the aesthetic of the style, maybe there's a part of me where I just didn't dig it at first, but I kind of do like it. I just, wish it would go for a physical form in some sense. But there's two parts of me. As a skateboarder, when playing this game, it was pretty cool. You do little tricks, you do flips and stuff. Not realistic stuff, not like, even though maybe half of it is inspired by Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but it really isn't. It's inspired by Jet Set Radio, obviously. And with the amount of other skate games, they're better than this one compared to that. But it's cool to have, skateboarding, BMX, and, rollerblading, because there's like literally no rollerblading games at all out there. There's aggressive inline back in the PS2 days, but there's like none. I guess Jet Set Radio is kind of like the biggest one. Or Shadow. Maybe some Sonic games sort of have that essence of rollerblading. I could be wrong in that end, because I'm not really sure if you call them rollerblades. I don't know what Shadow the Hedgehog is really riding. But yeah, you don't see a lot of that. So, but if I was a rollerblader, I would be heavenly into this series so hard. But the thing is that as a skateboarder, I really like the game. It doesn't really match the essence of that compared to Tony Hawk Pro Skater and Skate. But as a b-boy, as a breaker, I'm kind of little left out and disappointed that you're only given one move within this. And also there's like another move, like a coin drop, when you actually accelerate in some ways. But other than that, there's not much to left with when it comes. And I get it. There's a dance aspect, not the breaking aspect to it, but I wish there was. Like I heard there was a popular breakdancer named Stepper from the Netherlands, and I was familiar with him. I've been watching him for years in the scene, and he also worked on the game as well, and I thought there was going to be a chance I was play as him. Now, me being early on in the game, I honestly wouldn't know if I would come across him or battle him or meet him across the game. But, throughout me playing BombRush, I really like it. The story, weird, because usually when you get decapitated, you're gone, you're dead, you're like, you're out of there, okay, you're dead. Like, what is that saying in what is it, the end game, or like, the final freaking Avengers movie with Thanos, like you go for the head, like what he said, you could have gone for the head, and that could have been it. That could have been it, especially the other Thanos. Oops, spoilers. The other Avenger movie ending or Endgame or whatever. That was it. They go for the head because they learned a lesson. But yeah, isn't that supposed to be the end of him? That has to be brutal. I was like, ugh, God. Especially getting out of prison, and then you also play as like a person that was once, like sort of like depending on different heads, not the body, but different heads. Like now you play as Red. But you used to be a legendary rider or something like that, according to Trice. And then you're on to an adventure to hunt down for your head. Like, I don't know what it is with the story, but it's like, maybe it's not really the focus of the story. Maybe the gameplay is the main focus, and the story is just there to carry on. But it also plays in a smart way of actually going to different boroughs, different turfs that you have to go into. And pretty much graffiti is sort of played as a big role in this game. It's been a part of that, especially through Jet Set Radio. And you're kind of like designing each piece, and it kind of showcases that in a way where, it's easy. You just put tags and then you get your points to actually progress through the game and other levels and other sectors across this world. And in some cases it does feel like an open world, except it doesn't. It usually feels like an ongoing skate park, but you're kind of like flowing with each world that almost has no loading, kind of like almost like Jack and Daxter in a sense. Even though I don't see myself going back to different worlds or something, maybe you transfer to different areas thanks to cutscenes. But I really I really like that fact that you sort of go into it has that feeling of an open world, even though it isn't. And most of the time in the game, it gives you a chance to actually freestyle at first, and I really do like that. Understanding the controls, especially when you're locked in the prison, and also as you get out, you kind of still learn a couple things, and there's no failure of losing anything like that. Of course, you might die in the game if you don't attack the enemies accordingly, but gives you the directions, and you kind of use it the way you want to use it to progress through the game, and I like that. And it's such a good flowing. Even though, if I gotta be honest, I wouldn't say it's a game that is sort of like top fives for me personally. Okay, when it showcased the like only one move in your dance emo kind of like session, the emos that it has like for the dance. I thought there was gonna be some ways to actually have it, because I think I said this a lot, especially as a person that has like another channel that is dedicated to dancing, dedicated to breakdancing. I wish we had a game that is dedicated to that kind of culture, because it's just non-existent. This could have been a way to actually showcase that. You have skateboard moves. You have like BMX move. You have different you have like rollerblading moves as well. But when it comes down to the breakdance aspect, even though it's not part of that, even though it's part of dancing, you just only get one thing and that's it. And I kind of was like hurt, but like I was also not surprised. It still could have been cool if they add more moves. If they add more moves, because dancing itself is heavily way easier than doing any tricks on a bike or on a skateboard, because you're using your whole body. Instead, you just put one top rock, one stand up move in each of those. You could have put any popping moves, any lock in, pop and lock, freaking TikTok dance moves or something like that. They lost the opportunity of that. Even though they're probably, thank goodness they didn't put any TikTok little Fortnite moves. Maybe they're trying their best to separate themselves from Fortnite. But still, there could have been some authenticity when it comes down to putting in more moves. You don't need to be heavily experienced or anything like that. I just wish it had more moves. But instead, you're only given one thing, which is just top rock, and that's just it. And hopefully later on in the game, as I play it, I'll lock like power moves, freezes, and footwork, and ground moves, and different transitions. But it's not a breaking game, sadly. I wish it is, and it's inspired within breaking culture. I can see that, but it's not a test. It's not really catered much to me, and I'm speaking as a breakdancer, a b-boy that actually wants to be inspired to this. It doesn't speak to me in that sense. In an open world and gameplay sense, it does. I feel like this game itself, the reason why there's another aspect other than that I'm not really into, is that it's sort of like there's certain aspects of that is predictable for me, that I see true. And also when it comes down to gameplay, in a sense, like I feel like, I wish there was like sort of like I'm trying to think, the progression tree, like before you go into other levels. That could have been cool, because I played another game that's so heavily in open world, and also like completionist kind of like perks that has within the game, like completing different islands or completing different areas, getting 100% before you move into another place. And I like doing that, and this game sort of to me doesn't have it. However, it is a good game. Okay, it's just that there's some simplistic areas that I can't go into because I'm not a game reviewer in that sense. But I feel like they could have done more to it than what I see. I feel like for people that are not into dance, or into skateboarding, or not into BMX, they can play this and actually learn from those aspects from this game itself, because it's kind of like all over the place with it's like what it really wants to be. The music is fire. The characters are pretty cool. I like Trice and Belle, and also like but I don't think it really grabbed me much. I mean, especially me and the other ones like Fresh Prince and stuff like that. I just still want to meet the other guys. But then again, I'm still new to the game. I'm still new to actually progressing through it. However, I just want to really share this, because I don't really review a lot of games. As you can tell, I'm not a good reviewer when it comes to these games as well. I'm just pointing out the things I like and I don't like. And I guess for, open world, not really open world, but for, a Tony Hawk style, like, Jet Set Radio style, I forget I don't even know what genre to call this game. What do you call a game? Do you call it a skate game? Because maybe it counts as a skate game because there's skateboarding mechanics to it, but there's also BMX, there's like inline, is it a sports game? Like, I don't know. I don't really know. It's so different from other games that I played, but it just feels more fresh to actually have this in today's culture of actually, playing this, especially from the way I see it through my culture and how I like to really visualize that, even though this is part of like, this game is from the Netherlands and it's no ways And it's a game from the Netherlands, but it's trying to picture that, like, Jet Set Radio itself is like a Japanese game in a sense. So it's trying to really imitate that Japanese feel through this game. I could be wrong in some of those aspects. It's like lo-fi, but other than that, this game is not bad. Okay, it's not. I'm not crazy about it, but I would actually put it somewhere in my top tens. Maybe not top fives, but top tens because I'm still early on in the game. I heard the game is short. I'm not sure how short it is, but I'm very curious what they mean by like it's short. Because is it short when you technically actually play a lot of the game because you got all the tricks, you got all the moves and stuff like that. You can technically do a lot, like make it, if you complete all the levels, now it turns into a podcast game. Like you play it while listening to a podcast, that type of thing. I don't know. But other than that, that's just my early impressions of Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. Let me know what you think about the game because I know other people have better opinions than me because who am I? One love and a peace.